The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. It always seems impossible until it's done. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. I am not a saint unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. I dream of an Africa which is in peace with itself. Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden, but never extinguished. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. Courageous people do not fear forgiving. For the sake of peace, it is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it. I detest racialism because I regard it as a barbaric thing, whether it comes from a black man or a white man. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. I like friends who have independent minds because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. Do not look the other way. Do not hesitate. Recognize that the world is hungry for action, not words. Act with courage and vision. Our human compassion binds us the one to the other not in pity or patronizingly, but as human beings who have learned how to turn our common suffering into hope for the future. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. Money won't create success, the freedom to make it will. I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. There is no easy walk to freedom anywhere, and many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountaintop of our desires. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end he and the other side must be closer, and thus emerge stronger. You don't have that idea when you are arrogant, superficial, and uninformed. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner. Freedom cannot be achieved unless women have been emancipated from all forms of oppression. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. It is not our diversity which divides us. It is not our ethnicity or religion or culture that divides us. Since we have achieved our freedom, there can only be one division amongst us, between those who cherish democracy and those who do not. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. It is so easy to break down and destroy. The heroes are those who make peace and build. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so the other people won't feel insecure around you. Education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, that a child of farm workers can become the president of a great nation. We must use time wisely and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. Lead from the back and let others believe they are in front. It is easy to break down and destroy. The heroes are those who make peace and build. A good head and good heart are always a formidable combination. But when you add to that a literate tongue or pen, then you have something very special. I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden, but never extinguished. There can be no greater gift than that of giving one's time and energy to help others without expecting anything in return. I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward.